Hello reefers, welcome back to the channel. My name is Lee, this is Reefer Explained. Today we're doing a quick video on filtration, just really on removing particles and clarity of water. That's something, if you're a newbie, you may want to stay tuned in for this one. I'll try and keep this short and sweet so we don't go too far into this. I just want us to start with the water clarity on your system. Now this will be on, if you can see, from one end to the other, and it's pretty clear straight through. There is a little bit of tinge, and if there's any yellow pigment in the water from looking at it like this, or from when you take your old water out before you do a water change and compare the two buckets, you'll see obviously an offset color. But if it's yellow, it means that realistically you've got too many organics in there, and that you'll want to try and remove that by either doing water changes, which is probably the best way. But if you use some activated carbon, which is this product here that I use by NIOS, I've used a few in the past and they all work pretty much the same way. But I like this product because one, it's a good company, NIOS, and two, the active carbon seems to last quite a bit of time. So it's just pellets, and you can run these in a different couple of ways. You can put them straight into a reactor like this. So what you've got is you've got a chamber inside another chamber. There's a piece of sponge here. You pour the active carbon in, you'll rinse it through with RO or tap water, ideally with RO. Wait till it runs clear on the other end, and then you can plug this on. So you'll use a pump underneath it, and then the water will run through the system and run out of these holes at the top and back into the system. So you can use this in a back chamber of your reef tank if it's an all-in-one, or you can just use it on your sump like this below, and it will clip on and it will go the other way, obviously, inside there. And I've taken this off at the moment because this pump, the one that came with this one a long time ago, it started to make a lot of noise, humming, and it just drove me mad. So I've kind of got away from that at the moment. The way I'm using my carbon is just dumped in a sock in the bottom, and there is a tray underneath for the Red Sea that you can put media in, and it just filters through. So it kind of does the same job, but a reactor is a much better way to run media, because you can control the flow by turning this, or using, if it's got a DC pump, using the DC pump to turn it down or up. And that basically constricts the flow by turning it which way, so that there's less fluent water coming through, and then that basically will polish the water a lot easier and quicker. Carbon is obviously eliminating the yellow pigment from the water, and you'll need to change out the carbon once it's exhausted. How quick is that depending on your system? Personally, I change mine out every 2 to 3 weeks. You probably could change it out every 7 to 10 days. And some people may go through the carbon a lot quicker than that. You could just put the carbon in a nylon sock like you would get for your sump, and just clip it on the side in a high flow area in your sump, and leave it in there once it's been filtered through, and that will help clean the tank as well with the carbon. Now, just going to another product that I use. So if you're looking to get rid of phosphates, the one I go to is Phos. Now, it's a messy substance. It's similar to carbon, but it's more messy, and it's kind of dyed with like a browny tinge to it. It's a black powder you can put inside a mesh bag, for instance, and tie the mesh bag up, and then you could put it in the reactor with the carbon, but in a mesh bag, and then the water will run through and run, obviously, and reduce the phosphates by binding the organics up inside the media. Now, the media will exhaust within maybe 2 to 3 weeks, maybe less, and you want to obviously then take that bag and throw it in the trash once that's exhausted. The same with the carbon. They will only last for so long. Now, the difference with the Phos is that it will leach back into the system if it's not taken out. So something to be mindful of, but that will help bring down your phosphates if you have too much organics. And the way you'll know this is if you're testing phosphates, you'll know. But if you have excess organics or algae growing in a system like this on my reef, then you should be using some sort of phosphate remover. Now, I want phosphates in my system. I don't want them to be zero, and I want to make that clear on a reef tank. You need some phosphates in the system, whether it's detectable or your corals are not fading. Mine's running at 0.03 ppm, and I know this because I'm using the Reef Factory Smart Tester. It is an expensive piece of kit that will test the parameters of phosphate on this one, because I'm just running the phosphate checker, and that keeps me alert. So if it starts to go up, then I'll change out the carbon or replace the carbon. If it goes below 0.02, 0.01, then I know that to get rid of the carbon, because I'm stripping too many elements out of the system. Now, Roaphos is very powerful stuff, and you should use maybe half of what the recommendations are, and just test and see how things go. With the activated carbon, you can use as much as you like. It won't have any impact, but make sure you rinse it through, as mentioned, because those particulates could be harmful to some of the fish or inverts if the dust particles were to go through the water column and so forth. Most likely the reactor, the skimmer, protein skimmer, or your media, your socks or your filter roll, if you have one, will remove that anyway before that happens. But just mindful of that. The other product is this product by Quantum. It is a phosphate remover. I've never used this. I bought this because I thought I was going to use it. You could stick this on a doser and dose this straight into a sock or your roller mat area. It is more powerful and it's a liquid form. Just read the instructions before using anything like this, because I think you really need to be pretty much in the know of what you're using when it comes to these kind of scenarios, because it's quite powerful. I won't say too much more on there because I've not used it and I bought it on the preference I was going to use it. Kubrasorb is a great product by Seachim, and basically it will remove heavy metals and copper from the system. Now, you're probably asking, why would I need to use that? If you ever noticed a rusty impeller on your pump and you knew that you had to change it out, you know that you've probably got some rust or copper in the system, or your stand is leaching something, then use a small bag of it. And it pretty much looks like resin inside. It's like an orange powder form. Run it inside a filter sock bag, and make sure that you can just rinse it quickly, but you don't really need to worry too much. But I always just rinse mine in quick some RO water. Now, going to the roller mat, which is the Red Sea 500. If you're not using a roller mat, which I strongly advise that if you've got the budget to use them, only because it takes care of obviously those dirty needs of taking out the filter socks. So the roller mat is the clean side here. The dirty side, obviously, you can see how filthy this is. And obviously I'm using the skimmer as well, protein skimmer, but this will just roll it out. It's on the ReefBeat app, controllable by the motor on the side, and then there's a water level sensor on the side, and it will just roll out the filth once it gets blocked. And it's a great product, very, very cool. If you're not using that, you're using the traditional old style socks. These ones, these kind of sock material, they're very thick and they will collect a lot of gunk. They're great, but after about 3 days, you want to obviously take that out and rinse it in tap water, and then sometimes what people do is they'll chuck them in the washing machine with bleach, but I never trusted that because the bleach could end up back in your system. So what I would do is rinse them out with a hose or the shower, and then I'll just dump them in some RO water afterwards, let them dry, and then put them back in. These ones work really well as well. They're the nylon version, much easier. They won't collect as much organic material, but it'll collect a lot of the gunk and fish food and waste through into these, and these are much easier to clean and quicker, and I would use these over the other ones. The only difference is obviously it will let the organic stuff go through. As long as you've got a good powerful protein skimmer, you won't need those other socks. So if you've taken anything from this video today, check what products you're using. If you like the video, please give it a thumbs up and like and subscribe. It really helps me bring out this content and this channel. I know some of this stuff is pretty basic and pretty much you understand that you're probably using some of these products, but this is kind of what I'm using to a go-to. So if you like, please follow, subscribe, and I'll see you on the next video.